Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been a slight minute, but not really. It's been a few days, maybe, since I did my I see I can't even talk. I can't even do words good. But it's been a few days since I've been able to do a video. My kid, he's been sick, and when he gets sick, my time gets, taken away from me suddenly. But I have an opportunity, doing a couple of books that I randomly found, and I came upon this Batman Punisher that I've had for a while. It sucks. The end. Thanks for watching. No. I like this back cover. That's kind of a cool image. But this is, not the version of Batman that everyone likes. I did the issue of Batman where Bane broke his back. I wasn't too terribly impressed. I knew what the story was going to be. But some of the storyline and the art for DC, what they were doing at the time, it just didn't appeal to me then. It didn't appeal to me now. And this seems to be more of the same. Even though it's a Marvel DC crossover, which was rare. It was rare for then. It's rare for now. I think the last Marvel DC crossover was the Avengers JLA, which I have, which I'll probably do. But in the meantime, let's look at this Batman Punisher. This version of Batman is not Bruce Wayne, obviously. This is Jean Saint Dumbass? Jean-Paul Dumbass? Jean Saint Pierre? George Saint Pierre? Something. I forget his name. Maybe we'll say it in here. I don't know. It's the guy who took over Azrael for Batman, right? I don't know really anything about him, where he came from before he became Batman. Most of what I know is the little bits that he was in the Batman Arkham video games. But you got the Punisher, and these two seem like a natural fit for a crossover. Both street level heroes and kind of on opposite ends of a spectrum, kind of like a Daredevil and Punisher. Punisher is all about the guns and mowing people down, and Batman is not. This is not the version of Batman, but it's still kind of in line with that. So let's take a look at it. We'll take look at some of the credits. Published in 1994, published by DC and Marvel, all rights reserved, blah, blah, blah. Dedicated to the memory of Ross Andru. His art and storytelling graced many Batman stories, the first Punisher stories, and the first DC Marvel crossover. Really? I did not know that. Well, that is slightly interesting. But Batman Punisher, Lake of Fire. So we got Dennis O'Neil as the writer. Didn't he write a bunch of Batman comics? Did he do the Batman Nightfall thing? I know the name, but I'm not too familiar with his work. Artists, Barry Kitson and James Pascoe? I don't know. Pascoe. Matt Hollingsworth, colorist. Digital Chameleon, Separations. Separations. What does that mean? Robert, what does that mean? Separations. Can you tell me? Can anybody else tell me? But we got a Lake of Fire. So let's get into this street level crossover. Oh my God, we're in hell. What the fuck is this? Shrieks and screams and moans is the porn I'm watching. An unending cacophony of pain that echoes off the stone walls for all of eternity. Oh God, it's one of those books. And the stink of flesh that burns in the river of flame burns but is never consumed. So we're in hell, obviously. Here is a place of torment. Maybe they're at Chuck E. Cheese. These are the doomed, these are the damned, these are the souls whose pride and arrogance and disobedience earned them the punishment which will continue long after the sun is ashes. Does the sun turn to ash? Doesn't it just explode and then condense and then black hole? Whatever. Metaphor. See them, hear them, witness their fate, but do not pity them, for they deserve their agony. Oh my God, so dramatic. I feel like I'm in fucking church. But, people burning in hellfire, and it's, it is called Lake of Fire. I mean, if you want to be, like, tormented, have a cat try to interrupt every goddamn video you have and sleep on you all goddamn night. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Rusty's back. Say hello, everyone, to Rusty the cat. There he is. Hey, buddy. Bitch about him messing with my camera, but then I have to go and move it so everyone can see him. So what's going on here? Oh, here we got this guy. And this is the source of this fiery river, the just and Rusty. I can't read. All right. Just look at the cat and I'll read it so you guys can. The just and remorseless retribution, the wretched suffer, a blazing sword clutched in the fist of the holiest of heaven's chosen, the venerable Saint Dumbass. Saint Dumas. Okay, Rusty, get the move. Gosh. Saint Dumas. I like dumbass. And that's probably what I'm going to call him for the rest of the book. Sorry if you're a big fan of dumbass. He waits, he watches, he knows, and he judges. He peers into the depths of your being and he names you. He calls you fool. He calls you heretic. He calls you sinner. Now I get that this isn't the same guy. This is like a saint. It's a Saint Dumbass. Saint Dumas. Biblical shit. And this is like somebody who's a loyal servant. He's a loyal servant of Saint Dumbass. So he's dreaming, right? This blonde-headed son of a bitch. Boring-looking, blonde-haired asshole. My wife often says the same thing about him. What the fuck did you do, Rusty? So he was dreaming, and he was sleeping, and he wakes up, and he's talking to himself, because that's what you do in comics. I mean, it's either that or, thought bubbles. But he starts talking to himself. I am disloyal, a heretic. I have abandoned the garb of the dumbass and put on the clothes of the Batman. So he was, dressed up. He was, I don't know. You tell me. I don't know what he was. He did stuff for this guy, Saint Dumbass, but now he's Batman. So is he being disloyal to him? But the Batman fights evil. He is on Dumbass's side. He has to be. If I do Batman's work, I'll also be doing the Saint. That has to be it. So, okay, stuff is going on with Jean Paul, right? That's his name? He's just walking around in this big fucking cape. I mean, you tell me the logistics of it. I mean, it's kind of cool, but I also feel like we're in a Tim Burton movie with these swirling cape shit. All right, so what is he talking about? He needs to find somebody named Cass Rimmer. And that guy has ties to a local criminal, Tony Bressie. I can find Bressie. And that will please Dumbass. So he's, Batman. He's tortured and I don't know. All right, so now we got the monologue from Punisher. Now, he doesn't talk to himself out loud, but he thinks to himself a lot. Few places are worse than New York. Gotham City is one. So usually when there's a crossover, there's some kind of event that brings them together, like they're not a shared universe. Here, they just are, right? Let's call it Earth 619. We'll call it the Mysterio world. And he's talking because he's looking for Jigsaw. He's saying to himself, my contacts say I get info in on this bar. It's cruddy. That's okay. I'm used to crud. All right, Punisher. So he goes up to this guy. Can you help me? Do I look like a bleeding heart? More like a bleeding armpit. What the fuck does that mean? A bleeding armpit? Anyways, this guy doesn't like that. Breaks a bottle. And Punisher says, this punk's got enthusiasm. But no finesse. So Punisher's beating the fuck out of people. So at least Punisher is doing what he needs to do. He's beating the fuck out of guys. So he wants the information, beats these guys, and he leaves He finds the guy he came for. He's looking for Jigsaw. Doesn't know where Jigsaw is, so Punisher's like, all right, I'm just going to shoot you. But he says, maybe I can tell you something. And he talks about another guy who runs errands for Jigsaw, and they tell him where, and it's at a church. And he says, if you lie, he says, I hope you're lying. I still want to watch you bleed. So, then he sees this guy had some papers, and he grabs them on a hunch. Sometimes hunches are money in the bank. All right. So, we see Batman, we see Punisher. Now we're here with Jigsaw, the Punisher villain. I don't know what this metal neck brace that Jigsaw's had before. What's the purpose of that? I don't get it. Oh boy, but these guys are talking. And he knows that the Punisher is coming for him, and he basically set up a series of I don't know, traps or places to put information that Punisher would follow, because he's watching the Punisher in a video camera here. That's his reflection, and he's turning it off. He wants the Punisher to go to a certain place. I planted info that would lead him straight to it. And, he just wants to take out the Punisher, I guess. And then they're talking about if the stuff does do like you say, we'll plant it somewhere between the old reservoir and the new, set it on fire and whatever. So he has to demonstrate what's going to happen by this random spider going by, and he dumps alcohol on it, sets it on fire and burns the spider, and then douses it. If I were this guy, I'd be like, dude, can you not? Like I have to say to my cat quite often, can you not get in my face? Huh? Can you not? So he basically, if he gets rid of Punisher, I'd have a city all to myself. Is he talking about Gotham? Does he not know what the fuck's going on? All right. So Punisher goes, and Punisher's kind of been religious in a sense. I feel not too terribly much, but enough. So he arrives at the church, and there's a nun, and she splashes, or somebody jizzes on his face. But it's some kind of weird water, but it's a drug. And you can tell that, she's evil because she has that look on her face. And he tries to pull a gun, but he's, it's weakening him. He's not able to do anything. And she leaves. And then the fire starts somehow. And she goes out, and there's Jigsaw in a car. I zapped him with the drug, and he folded. Good, now we'll see how he barbecues. Maybe you put a bullet in his head and be done with him. But no, you have to leave him in a weird setting where he can easily escape. So Punisher, he's kind of fucked up, but he has enough, cognizance to still think to himself. Uh-oh. So, somebody was about to call me, but decided not to. So he's trying to find an exit. Maybe there's one behind the altar, but can't find the altar. He can't be sure of anything. Leave me alone. Except he knows that there's a fire. In comes Batman. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, that's kind of cool, crashing through. Why was he coming again? He was looking for somebody. It doesn't matter. And then he sees the Punisher, and he picks him up, and he wants to get him out of here, but he's having a hard time, but eventually he does. He picks up something, throws it through a wall, throws it through the floor because it's weakened by the fire, and drops into the shelter. Thanks to Saint Dumbass. Thanks be to the dumbass. Alright, so Batman saves Punisher. And Punisher starts coming to, and then they start talking. You figure to be the Batman, and you're thinking about turning me in, right? Of course, not a good idea. Because we're after the same person. Let's team up. Okay, let's do that. I mean, it's fine. Do you really care? These guys need to team up for reasons. They get into the Batmobile, drive off. Punisher's talking about he has like the fanciest wheels. That car is cool, I guess. I mean, I guess he's on a road. Could be flying in the air for all I know. So Batman had an idea, and they go to a bar, but they're not allowed inside. But they're like, "You believe that we're not inside?" No, because they're tough guys, and they start beating up people. So they go into the steam room, and there's a bunch of people steaming and working out. And then there's a bunch of thugs and spies. They're looking for somebody. They don't want, the thugs don't want them here. So a fight ensues. We can see them accidentally doing bad, but it's getting us nowhere. Yeah, just pointless fighting. And then Batman throws a grenade, which I guess gets rid of this. I don't know what it is. It must be like a gas grenade for these guys because he throws him a mask. Now, what's going on here? Punisher's looking at him now while he's busy. He starts freaking out to the dumbass. What did Punisher do to him? Whatever. So dumbass is speaking to Batman here. You know, in his head. Somehow Punisher did something. What did he do to him? Now while he's busy, and he just starts freaking out. Alright, so he goes off and he's looking for fiery water along the way. Maybe I'll find the Punisher. Okay. So Punisher's watching get into his car. Shame on me. Maybe I should have given him a farewell card, but I'm a loner. So he just left when he was like busy. So I guess the Punisher didn't do anything to him. He just started freaking out because he's like mentally ill. All right. So more things are going on. He's trying to figure out where he needs to go. He's pissed off. He's like wishing the Punisher hadn't left. He's like, no, I don't need him. Bruce Wayne would have found a way. He'd use the computer. Bruce Wayne's, you know, Batman, the real Batman's smart. So he's trying to like, he's comparing himself to Batman, trying to keep up the mantle. I don't know. You can't. He's the goddamn Batman. You're just a goddamn turd. All right. So he figures out something through the Bat computer, and he goes and he finds Random Guy and Jigsaw. Pardon. And he busts in on them. Jigsaw shoots at Batman. He tackles Random Guy, Rimmer. We'll just call him Rim Job. He's like, Rim Jobs, get away from him so I can... Wait a minute, you're actually doing fine. And, you know, Jigsaw doesn't care about him, so he's going to fuck off. So Batman beats him up. He starts talking about the water. They're gonna poison the reservoir and make the water burn. Fiery water. Batman wants to stop it. Okay, so good stuff. So Batman goes to where he needs to go to stop the fire water. Water comes gushing in. He does something. He breaks a dam. He breaks where the water is like flowing through to make it spill out so it doesn't do what it needs to be. So Batman relaxes. Meanwhile, back at a very boring building, Jigsaw's talking to somebody, but Punisher gets a drop on him. I'd ask who you were talking to, Jigsaw, if I cared. They just start talking. Why didn't the Punisher just shoot him in the face right there? Yeah, he even says, dumb, when it's time to shoot, shoot. No fucking shit. Because he gets the drop on him. He grabs the phone, busts it over his head. shoots at him. He ducks, throws a knife, hits the gun. He wants to take off. Punisher tackles him. He gives him the boot. They're somehow, they must have been on like the top floor because they're on the roof on the edge. I glance over my shoulder and see a lot of nothing between us and the street. A whole lot of nothing. So they're struggling, still struggling, and he's still talking to himself. You need words everywhere, apparently. But they get to a point where Punisher is able to heave him off and over the side. And he's falling, and Punisher's like, this is going to be fun. Street cleaners are going to need a blotter. A big blotter. I don't know what a blotter is. What's a blotter? So he's falling, but here comes Batman. Dun, 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 dun. I see what he wants to do. I wonder if he can possibly make it. And he does. He crashes. He grabs him and crashes through the window. He saves Jigsaw and ties him up and leaves him there because he wants to go get the Punisher. It's like, maybe you'll kill each other off. So Jigsaw's by himself. He's talking to himself because you need words everywhere. But then someone starts talking to him. He's making jokes. He was just handing you a line, Jiggy Poo. He likes you. Not. Such a funny joke. That's supposed to be funny? Nope. But it's the Joker, and he's here for reasons. Because it's a Batman comic, and you need a Batman villain in there somewhere. So I guess this is the guy he was on the phone, Jigsaw was on the phone with earlier, and they were going into business to do this together. He's talking about you need to laugh at yourself because if you laugh at yourself, it saves me the trouble. And he just, like, Joker's rambling and he's trying to tell him to stop it. And just like, he says cut me, meaning cut the ropes and free him. But Joker's like, ooh, maybe I will. Oh, you mean cut the ropes. Then we leave. And I don't think we see anything more of these guys in this comic. So that's cool. You see Jigsaw and the Joker together. That's what we've always been wanting to see, right? So, Batman shows up with, finds Punisher. He says, surrender. And he's like, no. And we're going to fight. So, Batman lunges at him. They have claws. I guess he doesn't hurt him. He comes at me like something from a kid's worst nightmare. Does he, though? We're on the same side, him and me. Too bad we have to fight. I almost hate to slug him, but that's not the worst part. Him slugging me, that's the worst part. So punch. Pow. At least there's like no, like, sound effects in this book. That's interesting. You don't need sound effects. Like, if you draw it right, you understand that he hits him. You don't need a pow right there or a thwack right there. Sometimes it works. Kicks at him, he ducks, hits him again. Batman's getting the drop on him. Punisher ain't no slouch in the fighting department. And I don't know how good Azrael, John Paul here is as a fighter. Is he better than the Punisher? I mean, the regular Bruce Wayne Batman would be, but this guy, whatever. Punisher says here, I'd like to play fair, but it's not an option. So he pulls out a gun and shoots him. But the bullets will hurt, maybe break some ribs, but he'll live. So Punisher says, I had to stop you, but you didn't. That's kind of a cool picture, being mostly in the shadows. Punisher asks, what's it going to take? More than you'll ever have. So Batman keeps punching at him. Again, struggling. Punisher's inner monologue is talking about how Batman's going to win. He'll win unless I remember the pouch he pulled, the gas grenade. So whatever gas grenade Batman had earlier, Batman takes it out of his pouch while they're fighting and throws it at him. And he doesn't have a mask on. So he starts inhaling it. And this is a fucking weird picture. Is this supposed to be one picture? This is a huge hand that's supposed to be coming towards you. This gun looks so like you just kind of made something without looking at an actual gun. Or are these two separate images? I don't know. I think it's one, and this just looks fucking weird to me. Hey man, I cheated, okay? Okay, Punisher. Dumb, but I had to say something. Did you, though? Can't you just shut the fuck up or not say anything? The victory tastes like ashes. I walk away. I've got an appointment with Jigsaw. So, Batman was beating him up. Punisher cheats. And he's all fucked up and he just leaves. Batman here, Azrael, talks to Dumbass about how he failed. Tried to do my best. He says, forgive me. Is that too much to ask? He's not getting any answer. Because even Dumbass is like, you suck. And then the end, basically. And in these long, terrible moments, he knows that a place of torment does not have to be a lake of fire. Like this, which was very integral to the story. Like, if you didn't read this, how would you know what he's talking about at this very end? I don't know. It can be a city that is lonely and filled with failure. Nor must the damned always shriek and moan. Sometimes they suffer in silence. I mean, that's kind of a cool thing with the cape in the city, but... And then, there we go. I don't know if, like, this was, like, one of two, and there's another Punisher Batman somewhere. I don't know why I got this. I'm a big Punisher fan, and it's a crossover with Batman. But it's just, like, this seems like a DC comic. Written by a DC writer. Probably, maybe had done some stuff for Marvel. I don't know. It just seems so very, like, boring. No flash to it. The art is serviceable, and it gets the story across, but the story is just kind of generic and stupid, and they try to do some interesting stuff with this guy being tormented from his mind, and he's like, oh, woe is me, I'm such a lonely Batman and stuff. I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. That's what Batman is. So, I don't know. I think there was another Batman Punisher crossover with the real Batman, but I never read that, so I just had this and I wanted to look at it. Probably the best thing is this back cover, honestly. So, that's it. Thank you all for watching, and, I'll see you on the next video.